If you wonder what something really spooky is going on, welcome. Ow, I probably did too much. So, hello guys, Velociraptor1 here, and we're gonna review something spooky. Yeah, my room is actually dark, which is a perfect theme for that. But it's not the case. So, I can recommend it, but well, he didn't recommend me that, but I get recommended by Mess Yourself. Even he used to be those gaming things, and now he's the okay, like these reaction or internet themes. I don't know what he did with his main channel, but I know he has a gaming channel, but now he posts all his games with Max. But anyways, today we are reviewing with, drumroll please, Wansee Entertainment. Yeah, now Wansee is those, no, it's not a guy, well, maybe, there's a guy that owned this channel and uploaded animated scary stories to his channel, but the thing is, it has to be true. No matter if you have a vision of ghosts or anything, it has to be true. But not only he made spooky stories about ghosts. No, not him. It's just people emailing him or something. But there's videos about creepy stalkers, murderers, or criminals. So let's get into one of the videos. Starting, excuse me, now. So, this is Onesies Entertainment. Goodbye, I don't need you, weird thing. So, basically, he uploaded these animated spooky stories. But of course, the apartment one might be a little boring, but the one is this one. So let's do it. Yeah, apparently I'm gonna have to say this, but even though there's ads in there, I have to edit the video because what happened if the ads might have like copyright infringement. But anyways, let's do this. Full screen in this.
I am a 19-year-old male.
Actually, to be honest, that kind of looks like the guy from a Fallout series. But let's just continue.
And this happened many years ago when I was very young.
He's very young.
To give you an idea of the layout of our house back then, the living room has multiple windows that directly look out onto the back garden. There's a big gate in our driveway to stop anyone from getting in.
Yeah, to be honest, when I'm basically from the, I don't know if I'm basically from the United States, so there's I don't see any houses with those gates thing. I'm not saying that there's, I'm not saying that they have those kinds of house in. Oh, okay. I'm not saying they had those kinds of house in Europe, but they're rare. They're rarely seen to have a house with a gate in the United States. But anyways, let's just don't want to waste your time. Just do this.
Next to the living room is the kitchen, which also has more windows, but also the back door. This will be relevant to the story. So my mother was completing the household chores as she does one day.
Yeah, I have seen this video before. Obviously, Mess Yourself show me this, but Yeah. Even though there's a situation like this, uh, for this young boy, I was wondering where the fuck. Oh, yeah. God damn it! I realized the father was at work. No, not my father. This one. So
I was sitting in the living room watching television on the sofa with my back to the living room windows. All of a sudden, I saw a figure reflecting off of the picture frame hanging on the wall opposite the window. I asked my mom if my dad was back from work, to which she said no. I'll never ever forget the look of horror on her face when I told her that yes, he was. He's in the garden. She looked outside the window and almost had a heart attack when she saw a scruffy looking but fairly built man outside the living room window.
okay, even though they have the audio thing, I'm not sure Wansee just did do the audio, the what the sound, the background sounds like the laughing man behind. But so what's happening is that I get it's a cartoon, but how did they get those psychopaths mouth big? That's what I'm saying. Okay, just
This didn't seem to faze him at all, though. He psychotically smiled at my mother through the glass, and my mom asked him what he was doing on our property. He said nothing, with the same sadistic smirk on his face.
yeah.
She said that she was going to call the police, and what he said is one of the scariest things I've ever heard. He screamed at my mother through the glass that if she even got her phone out, that he would break the glass. She did not know what to do. She paused and tried to rapidly think of what to do next, how to keep us both safe.
Ooh.
She wanted to protect me by calling the police, but she also didn't want him to hurt me if she did try to call them. As soon as he saw that she was terrified, he ran for the back door. Luckily, it was locked because my mom has always been a paranoid person, so she always locks the door.
Yeah, that's a life lesson. In order to prevent thieves from coming into your house, just lock your door, or have good security.
He screamed at her to let him in, or if she didn't, he'd find a way in and kill us both. My mother told him to fuck off.
Oh, that. So yeah, Matt, my bad. This is a an English thing.
Which enraged him, and he pulled out a pocket knife and began bashing hard against the windows. I was still oblivious to what was happening, as I just thought it was my dad. I was very young. My mom frantically grabbed me, and I don't mean picked me up. She literally grabbed me off the sofa and booked it up the stairs. We were backing up in the upstairs hallway, looking for anywhere to hide, when my mom's younger brother popped out of his room with his headphones on. My mom didn't even realize he was home, and he clearly didn't hear the commotion downstairs because of his headphones. My uncle was 25 at the time and was really well built. He's intimidated a lot of people. My mom cried and told him that there's a guy who's trying to break in. While she's telling him this, that creepy lunatic screamed from downstairs that he was in the house. He said cynically, "Boogeyman is coming out to get you," which really freaked me out. It freaked me out so much that I actually remember that to this day. Anyway, since the guy didn't know my uncle was home, he kept yelling and telling us to come out and that it wouldn't be painful. My uncle told us to lock ourselves in the bathroom and call the police. We did, and after 5 minutes of groaning and blatant violence downstairs, the police stormed in and found the guy bloodied and my uncle on top of him, beating him mercilessly. My uncle really didn't hold back.
Well, not only the guy is gonna get arrested, but his uncle could have gotten arrested too for domestic violence. I mean, you might have to be violent to protect yourself, but yeah, it's just not a good idea to do that. Just hold the criminal down and don't beat it up.
Turns out that he was a known pedophile, which is why he was watching me for so long while I was watching TV. After that day, my mom was terrified to be home alone at the house. I loved it as a child because I found the running and hiding fun, obviously because I was young. I can never thank my uncle enough for being there at the right time when my mother clearly forgot that he was still home. It honestly gives me chills, wondering what he would have done to my mother and myself if my uncle was not there.
Yeah, that's the thing about well, scary thing that what would happen if someone's not there? Well, that was depends. Yeah, this is the shortest one I apparently watched. Is the creepy campaign story animated? Well, apparently with there apparently 720 is not HD anymore. So but what I was saying is that with the once with this video, there's actually, you know what? I'm not gonna waste my time. Just I'm just gonna do it anyways.
I was on summer break and went camping with my friend and his parents. We went to the lake during the day
Nice.
and did the s'mores thing at
Yeah,
night.
s'mores.
His parents shared a tent while my friend and I had our own. I can't remember where the campsite was, and I'm not really in contact with my friend anymore.
Wow, that's
But
sad.
15 years later, I'm assuming it wasn't the safest place to camp. Here's why. I woke up sometime in the early morning, like 3 or 4 a.m., and immediately saw a man's face looking in the tent at us.
Yeah, that's creep. That's creepy. I don't know how. Eh,
He
that'd
had
be
unzipped the
that'd
door
be
just enough to stick his head inside. He looked absolutely insane. He had big eyes and wild hair. I was so stiff from fear, I literally couldn't do anything. The man kept moving his head from left to right, very, very slowly, as if it
I'm
was
scared.
uncontrollable. I guess my friend could hear me breathing loudly or something, because he woke up too. He had the same reaction as me, and just laid there in terror, looking at this mysterious man. I'm not certain how long he was sitting there looking at us, but it felt like hours, shaking his head back and forth. At some point, we heard a noise close by, and so did the man. He disappeared quick, and a couple minutes later we got out of our tent and woke up his parents. The guy was long gone. I'm still afraid of camping to this day.
Ooh, yeah, that can be a reason why people are afraid of camping. Many introduce something like bear attacks or unexpected animals, but a creepy man? I think he might be an inmate that got out of prison because he was wearing a orange thing. I don't, maybe an orange shirt, or I don't know what they call it in the prison, but yeah, I think this guy escaped from the prison. Jeez, that freaked me out. Yeah, apparently I had to shrink this the webcam thing because apparently you couldn't see fully with that. But so this is one of the videos that scared the shit out of me and scared the shit out of me to this day, and it's in my head. This is the smiling woman. Yeah. Apparently, with the apparently this woman is actually, I don't know, I'm not gonna spoil it. We'll watch it and you'll see.
I was 10 years old, and I was home alone. But that wasn't a big deal because we lived in a small city. My mom and dad were at my grandma's house. I couldn't go because I was sick. It was around 9 p.m. when I was about to go to sleep.
I don't know how old is she, but yeah. You're supposed to take care of her. But when you're like, maybe you can take care of yourself when you're like 11 or 12. Like 11 to, I don't know, but.
My room was really small, and it only had one window facing my bed. That window to me was kind of scary, because when you're a little kid, your imagination can sometimes go wild.
Yeah, that happens.
At that time, it wasn't my imagination, though. Like I said, I was about to go to bed when I heard a loud scream coming from outside. It was really scary, but I tried to be quiet so I could listen to what was going on outside. Nothing was happening, though. It was really quiet, like nothing had happened at all. Quieter than normal, actually. Some time had passed, and everything seemed okay, so I just laid down and tried to sleep. 1 hour later, I heard that loud scream again, but this time, it seemed to be closer. I froze. I was so freaked out I couldn't even move. 30 minutes later, again, the same scream. At that point, I was about to cry. I don't know why, but that scream wasn't just a scream. It was at this high pitch, and it was just so creepy. Finally, 15 minutes later, I saw something at that window. It was a really skinny woman.
Yeah, that's the image I got in my head. Maybe I can close my... Yep. There she is, in my mind.
And she seemed so happy for some reason. She was smiling, and her smile was so big and creepy. When I saw her, I started crying, and she started screaming again. I was horrified. She was just looking at me, smiling and screaming for the whole night. The next morning, my parents came back home, and I told them everything. They called the police, and the police found out that my window, that was facing my bed, was broken. But it didn't seem like it was broken with some sort of weapon, but as if it were broken by a really high pitch.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if that's a myth that if you sing on a really high pitch, the glass might break. I don't know. Or maybe it's with the vibration and the glass is actually vulnerable to the vibration. So, okay, we're not gonna review all the Wansee Entertainment videos, but I have one more video that we can react to. Sorry, I just had to do something. So yeah, the last video we'll be reacting, and don't worry, I will react to the other Wansee Entertainment videos at the future. Yeah, but this one, obviously with this app TikTok, I found out recently that TikTok is okay. Even though social media is made in the United States, TikTok is actually TikTok is actually made in China. I was surprised. But with that in mind, let's begin.
This happened pretty recent. About
Yeah, actually, I'm just gonna say this. Since if it's a woman telling the story, it's actually narrated by a man. Actually, doesn't matter. We're just gonna hear the story.
3 weeks ago, myself and 3 friends were hanging out at a shopping center one evening. We're messing around posting clips on TikTok. Then one of my friends started laughing, and I asked her what she was laughing at. She told me that guy behind us kept staring at me. When I turned around, it was some older guy just watching me. He had black sunglasses, a cap, an old Adidas tracksuit with scuffed up shoes, and had a disgusting looking beard. My friends thought it was hilarious, but I found it really weird. Then another one of my friends said,
I'm gonna say, I don't know what month it is, but if it's the summer, it is actually disgusting to wear that.
thinks that guy lives on her street, about a few houses down from her. She said that he actually follows her on TikTok. At that point, I quickly got my phone out to check if he was following me, and he was. I had to block him because he seemed a bit creepy. We went to get McDonald's before we went home, and I received a message on TikTok from someone. It was that guy who had been following us. His name was Greg, and he wrote, "Why did you block me?" with two emojis. One was a crying face, and the other one was an angry.
Yeah, that's what creeps do. They just have those impressions. I don't know why, but with this guy, if he's blocked, then how is he messaging her? I don't get that. I guess TikTok is different than other social media apps.
Face. He had actually created another account that day in the shopping center. I blocked that account as well, hoping that would be the end of it. I didn't mention it to my friends this time, knowing they would just laugh. That night, I was up late and had Netflix on in the background as I was chatting with my friends on Facebook while scrolling through TikTok. I got up to use the bathroom, and when I returned, I had 3 messages from my friends, all saying the same thing. All were things like, "Who's in your room?" and "What's up with your last post?" I asked them what they were talking about, and they told me to check my TikTok, so I did. It was a clip of my bedroom. It was a clip of someone picking up my phone and recording the inside of my room. At that point, I heard a creaking. Then I heard a man's voice say, "Sorry, please don't scream," and turned to see my closet door slightly open. I started to scream when the same guy who had been following us burst out of my closet and tried to cover my mouth. Thank God I screamed, and it was enough for my parents to hear. They came upstairs and my dad tackled the guy to the floor. The police were called and he was arrested. We were informed that the guy had straight up admitted to stalking and breaking and entering.
Yeah, I was gonna say, since he break it in the internet, how that he does that quietly? Because if he breaks the door, it makes noise. Well, he's very stealthy, and as I explains how he got inside the closet.
One of my friends pointed out, if I go back and look at the post on TikTok from when we were in the shopping center, you can see Greg is in almost all of those pictures, somewhere in the background. I haven't heard what's going to happen to Greg yet, but I just hope he won't ever come near us again.
And that's the creepy ending for that. A guy with that's underneath the bed is smiley creepy. So, anyways, yeah, with this, I'm gonna leave this guy in the description down below if you want to check him out and want to keep up with the spooky animation stories. But make sure to leave it like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya. Yeah, I'm not doing that again.